Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to be redoing my moss pools again. I've tried out a lot of different methods and I've just not been happy with any of them. I just find it really difficult to keep them moist, and I have traditionally used like a really powdery moss, and I think that's part of the problem is because it's so powdery, it's just not holding the moisture well. It just kind of runs through, it's very hydrophobic. So I actually have some better moss I'm going to try out today, and I am going to use a couple of different things. I'm not gonna, like, these are the moss poles I have made right now, which is just zip tied chicken wire, and that's what I've been using with like the powdery stuff, but I'm just not a fan of it. So I think what I'm gonna do is make something using page protectors. The wire is going to be like on, so like I'll go like this and then put the wire on the front. I'll zip tie them together, and I think that's my plan. Oh, I might actually put a wick. I think I'm going to put a wick in my poles just to see if that helps with preserving moisture a bit longer. This room does get really hot and it's very bright. It's south facing and it's a really big window, so I think that's the biggest part of the problem, is that I just don't stay on top of it enough to keep up with the heat and the amount of light that comes through here. So I'm going to, instead of wasting the chicken wire I've been using, I'm going to deconstruct a couple, see if I like it, and if I do, I'll go ahead and redo all of them. But I just want to try it out and see if it's worth spending a bunch of time on. So I think I have my wire cutters here, which are a necessity when doing this, and I'm just gonna attempt to cut. This is gonna be a little time consuming, unfortunately, so I will probably fast forward this part. You come for the head scratches? Oh good, the sun moved. I can actually see, I'm not blinded anymore. That's how long I've been looking down to try and get these zip ties off. Might not have been worth trying to save and reuse the metal, but anyway, we're done now. I'm dropping moss on my puppy and she's just like, like, the sky is falling. Oh man, it's been a rough morning with the puppy. I love her to death and I don't regret getting her, but sometimes just like that puppy energy, especially like in Aussies, they are so sassy, so high energy, so dramatic. And this morning she just like, I wanted to sleep in, and she was just not having it. So she was like jumping all over me in bed and like trying to get me going, and she was chasing the cats around, which is not allowed, so I had to get up to deal with that. She was just being a full-on psycho, and tried to go back to bed after dealing with her, letting her outside and trying to run off some energy. Nope, wasn't happening. There was no sleeping in, there was no napping. And some days, like, she just gets on my nerves, you know? It's like that. It's like so frustrating sometimes that I want to cry when you're like training a puppy, and it's just like there's like those very small moments and then you just like need a breather. And I'm fine now, but before I was filming this video there was stuff I was just trying to get done, and she was like running into the back of my legs and trying to play with the other dog, and so she was barking and growling, and that's something we're working on, is not being so vocal, but she's deaf, so I feel like it's a bit more challenging. But yeah, anyway, love her to death, but this morning I was kind of questioning whose great idea it was to get a puppy. And of course it was mine, so can't even complain. So I think I was gonna cut these, but I think then they'd be too small. Yeah, I think No, I think I will. I'm gonna cut one and see what it looks like and then decide. This stuff is super sharp. I've like cut my hands on it so many times, and I swear, like, cutting yourself on plastic is so much worse than paper. That's not very straight, but that's fine. So let's see. Maybe if I go like this. And start really toots. Get an idea. Here we go again. Oh, and then she bit my favorite leaf off of one of my plants that was within range of her. She pulled it off, and now she's about to knock over a shelf, and she's annoying the other dog. Trying to decide if this is too small. I think I'm gonna have to cut this in half anyway, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that first and then see. And now you're chewing my shoes. Stop. You're cute, I'll give you that. Hello, sir. You would never drive me insane, would you? No, you wouldn't. Big hacking barker. You would never be like a puppy. No, you're so snuggy. Oh, yes, nice kisses. Thank you. Oh. She's so calm in comparison. Oh. I just shaved his butt a little bit the other day, and he's been freaking out because, like, you can feel wind and stuff on his butt now. So whenever he walks by, like, a fan or anything, he freaks out, and he, like, spins in circles like something's touching his butt, and he's trying to see what it is, but there's nothing, and then he just, like, plops his butt down and won't stand up again. Yeah, I'd rather you didn't try to eat the chicken wire. No. Okay, so I just flattened out my pieces. And this is what I have right here. So I think what I'm going to do is use the, wherever the smaller pieces I cut was. And so I'll kind of curl them like this, I think is what I'm going to do. So I'll attach them like that and zip tie it to fit, I think is my plan. I'm going to, so I think I'm going to turn my camera around so that you guys can actually see what I'm doing. I'm just cutting little holes where I want the zip ties to go. And so that's what I'm going to do up the entire thing, and then I'm just going to fill it with moss and put a wick in it. Okay, so I've been playing around with it for a little while now, and I think I figured out what works best. So I'll show you here. I have my piece that's been cut in half-ish, and then I actually started using this knife. I don't have a hole punch, but a hole punch would work way better. I'm just using this for now because it's all I have, but I've been putting holes in like that, like little slits that I slide the and then I just twist it a little bit to open the hole so it goes through easier. And then I put the zip tie through. And I did give up on the wick idea for this one, but I might try it for the next one. And all you would do to add the wick would be to put a string down the middle before you attach and put in the moss. Like, I may be having a visitor here shortly. My cat is trying to figure out where to jump to get over here. This one doesn't want to click. Weird. This one's broken, I guess. So this one is actually cut too wide, so I put the hole over here, but I'm going to move it to around here so that it fits a bit more snug. I do want, actually no, that's going to work because I want that little bit of space. Huh, this one isn't clicking either. I must be putting them in wrong. There we go. Okay, so if I turn it around, I can kind of pop out this section of it. And then I'll do one, I'm actually going to put some moss in here this time around first and see, no, that's not going to work unless I flip it over. Sorry, I'm talking to myself trying to figure it out. Okay, so I'm gonna start by making the holes at the top. So I've been doing the first and last ones before filling in the middle because it gives me an idea of where exactly I need the placements to be along the middle. I think some of the sphagnum might be, there might have been some live spores because it's actually turning red, which is kind of cool. I'm just gonna try and stuff in along the side here, a couple of missed places where the two are conjoined. There. Now to close up here, I'm going to do the same thing with the knife. And there we go. I'm going to finish filling it up with moss and then I will pot it up with one of my plants. Put my red Anderson on this pole and I am just putting it inside the terracotta pot. I'm not actually going to bury it. Just because I recently did this guy, I don't want to stress him out right now, so I'm just going to do this. It will still be able to attach and I can use some planter's tape to slowly and gradually tighten towards the pole so that it will lean towards it and grow into it. I didn't make that tape long enough. And now I'll just pull as tight as I'm comfortable without that's pretty close, so I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to push it too much. It will like put out your little roots. You can see one coming out this way, but it will put out aerial roots and grow up the moss pole once it realizes it's there. And there's some new growth coming out right here too, so I'm not too worried. So yeah, that's that. I'm going to move it over onto the shelf. Actually, first, I'm going to remove all these black tabs so that they're not sticking out. And there we go. And just to give you guys a look, these are the old poles, the really tall ones. This one's just starting out on pole, so I'm gonna leave it there. It's actually really dark in here, I'm sorry. There, it's a little better. And the short one is the one we just made. I think it looks aesthetically much more pleasing than the others too. Yeah, so I'm gonna definitely transform these into one of those, just because it looks so much nicer, it's neater, and I do like the way that it went together a lot more. Hopefully it's better for watering. Hopefully it will hold some humidity now that it's not aerated on all sides. But yeah, this is the final product. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.